Let me tell you about the most horrifying experience of my life. This happened a few years ago while I was driving late at night between two small towns. The road was empty and the darkness felt heavier than usual. There were no houses, no cars, and no lights anywhere. Eventually, I saw a flickering neon sign in the distance. It was a small gas station in the middle of nowhere. I needed gas and a restroom, so I pulled in. After filling my tank, I walked into the store. Inside, I noticed a strange man standing near the counter. He was wearing a dirty denim jacket, old jeans, and muddy white shoes. His long blonde hair looked messy and fake, almost like a cheap wig. Something about him made my instincts scream that he was dangerous. So I walked down an aisle to avoid him. Suddenly, he grabbed the cashier by the collar and started yelling in a harsh, ugly voice. He demanded money and threatened to shoot the man. When the cashier tried to explain something, the stranger slapped him hard and knocked him to the floor. The man then looked at me with a disgusting smile, showing yellow teeth and bleeding gums. I quickly looked away and pretended to focus on grabbing snacks for the road. After a moment, he finally left the store. The cashier was lying on the floor and barely responding. I paid for my food and even left some extra money for him before going outside. The restroom was not inside the store. It was in a small shed nearby. When I walked into the restroom, the smell hit me immediately. It smelled like cigarettes, rot, and something much worse. The lights were dim, and the floor was covered with graffiti and dirt. While I was using the urinal, I suddenly felt like someone was watching me from the darkness. I tried to ignore it, but when I turned around, I saw him, the same man from the store. He was holding a metal pipe and smiling. Before I could react, he rushed forward and smashed the pipe into my head. Everything went black. When I woke up, I was in a dark basement. My head was pounding and I was tied up. Across the room, the man was sitting beside a horrible sight, a dead body. He was talking to the corpse like it was still alive. The body looked mutilated and broken. The man even moved its arm like a puppet and forced it to wave at me. He acted like it was his friend. Then he suddenly became angry and grabbed a knife from a couch. He started threatening me, laughing and screaming like he was completely insane. After beating me again, he suddenly got a strange idea. He opened a container of gasoline and poured it all over himself. Then he poured it over me and the floor. I realized what he was about to do. He wanted to burn everything. He picked up a lighter, and after trying several, he finally got one to work. Then he lit himself on fire. Flames spread instantly across the floor, and the entire basement began burning. Somehow, I managed to roll on the ground and put out the fire on my clothes. But the man kept burning and screaming like a wild animal. Then he started chasing me while he was still on fire. I ran up the stairs and burst out of the restroom shed into the cold night air. I sprinted to my car while he ran after me, still burning and laughing. I barely managed to start the engine. As I drove away, I looked in my mirror and saw him chasing my car down the road. A burning figure running through the darkness. He kept chasing me for miles. Finally, a huge semi-truck came speeding down the road and slammed into him. After that, the road behind me was empty. But even now, sometimes I still wonder if that man really died that night.